That's it. That's the last thing any of us had to say. All right.
That's it. That's
That
all.
was it.
What game are we playing here? Dungeons and Dragons?
No, we're not, because McDohl doesn't want to. He just wants to sit here and...
That'll never catch on.
There's no table, so...
I do have a table up.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to do the stupid Steam thing. Okay.
And my friends list is open, so I don't know.
I went up to level 14, which is the most boring level ever for a rogue, apparently.
You're showing up.
Yeah, you're offline.
Oh.
That's weird. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Yeah. No, I don't see Brick.
How about that?
No, he's online, but not...
There you
That's
are.
perfect. There you
Okay.
are.
Let's see if I can go to the table now.
So, the last thing I remember is everybody was on the verge of, like, being awful.
That doesn't sound like me.
I think you're doing the best out of everybody in the party. Well, maybe Red.
Well,
No, wait. Hold on. I just got an achievement for this game.
What is it?
Change your color more than 50 times.
It surprises me that you don't have all the achievements in this game.
I didn't know this game had achievements.
I have 56% of the achievements.
let's see.
Well,
I have not completed the in-game tutorial.
I haven't gotten any achievements for... Wait, that's wrong. Why is that even selected?
I have 56% of the achievements.
I have not tried to flip the table
I
and
have
failed.
41, so I'm apparently
I've
really bad
not
at
flipped I've not flipped the table 1,000 times. Anyway, so where we were was...
yeah, the best thing I got this level was that extra hit die. Which actually was
good.
relevant.
Nodal,
Oh,
are you grinding up the achievement now?
Listen. This is your fault when you think about
The last gaming problem I will share with you guys today before we get started in D&D is I thought up a hilarious name for a Mario level. And I started making the level in Mario Maker. And a few hours in, I realized the level's probably not much fun. But I can't not finish making it because the name is so great.
That makes sense.
So, do I have to go see a doctor? Should I...
Whatever you have to do to justify yourself, Brick Road.
Only if it burns when you pee, Brick Road.
My favorite kind of Mario level now that seems to be getting popular are the moral choices levels.
Those are hilarious, like the multiplayer ones.
That's making me really happy.
I've considered making one of those just to add my own out to the ecosystem.
You've seen the Yoshi one, right?
I've seen a bunch of them.
Yeah. Yoshi one's good.
The way the video is cut in that one's perfect too, where they just go inside and realize, like, nope, not dealing with that.
So this was... You guys had beat up my elementals, who were perfectly innocent and didn't do anything wrong.
That's correct.
We killed Brave Sir Castus.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Sir Casus is dead.
That's what we did.
And you had found a piece of wood with a bunch of magic words carved onto it.
Yep, that work is... Apparently it's like a... Apparently Sir Castus is not good on, like basic password
security. Yeah. got his password stuck to his monitor on a post-it note.
You guys found his first pass, yeah.
Yep.
It's always easier to hack the people than it is the counterspell.
Yeah, this is social engineering. This isn't hacking.
Right.
You know, we did some hacking. There was hacking involved.
Some slashing.
There's slashing involved. Raazu isn't much of hacking anymore.
Raazu took his broken sword hilt.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually broken. It's not just a hilt with no sword.
It's just a hilt with no sword coming out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's similar.
I mean, so I was. Let me just double check something real quick.
When you think about it, things don't break. They just have a different purpose now.
I can see that Nodal has never been dumped by somebody who he really, really loved. Because if he had, he would know
69.
that sometimes things break.
I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do that.
Everybody.
Superior potion heal. I mean, you brought it. You brought it on yourself, Brick Road. Let's see, that's 6.
Sometimes I set it up and hope he takes a swing, and he doesn't.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, sometimes you just gotta go for that.
What are you doing, McDohl?
I am going to drink that potion of superior healing, I believe is what it is.
Do you feel like you have been healed superiorly?
We'll find out.
See how many ones he rolls.
Yeah.
Potion of alright healing.
Potion of passable healing.
Potion of
My PHP.
Potion of potentially superior healing.
That is a lot of ones on there. Actually, that's like 2 ones, 3 ones. That's plus 8 is 20. I can't math. 27. So,
That's fairly superior.
yeah. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. I feel better now.
All right, so you've cleared out the elementals from this room, and the
Yep.
stairway stretches up before you.
Is that the way we go?
I mean,
I guess it's the way we go.
what do we do with the little girl?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking for a second. What's our current goal?
Did we need to
To
take
find
a
our
short
way-
rest?
We took a short.
Did
Oh, we
we
just
took-
took a
we took
long
a short
rest.
rest.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, short
Did
rest.
we
you're right.
just
Yes,
take
I
a
already-
short rest?
Yep, I just spent hit dice. You're right.
Yep. So our current objective is we're going upstairs to do what? Like, what are we trying to accomplish?
We're trying to find our way to the Arcana Loft to
To
see what
potentially-
she's about, and probably end up killing
And we
her in
don't
the
know whether
process.
she's downstairs or upstairs, so we're exploring a door that was previously locked by a magic spell. Got it. Thank
Right.
you.
We also haven't been through here and here.
Yep. We're just exploring.
Yep.
I just
You
couldn't
wanna-
remember if there was a
wanna-
specific reason we were going up the stairs.
You have
wanna
been
clear
through
out
here.
this
This was
floor
just
first?
an empty closet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had opened
Okay,
this
what about-
door last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about this? What about this door back here?
These are actually a pair of double doors.
Yep. Not trapped. I already checked.
How do we
That is
feel about
true.
clearing the floor before we go upstairs?
I am all for that. Let's do it.
Alright.
So, Birdie asks the little girl, like, so if we left you here, would you be okay? Because it's probably not safe for you to come with us. Like, are the skeletons going to like harass you or anything?
She shakes her head and says that they never do.
Okay. All right.
Raazu,
Stay behind us at a
before-
reasonable distance, and if you see doors closed dramatically behind us, that's probably not great.
Yeah, it's probably a bad scene.
I don't really have anything for you to do in that situation. I'm just letting you know.
So what is your... Are you telling her to tag along with you just to stay behind at a distance? Or are you telling her to stay here on this floor?
I think she should just stay here.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's got her stuff is here. She's got a little pit that she can warm herself up with.
I think she
Wendy
should
doesn't
just
have
stay
any
here.
problem with her tagging along if she wants to, just as long as she stays behind. I mean, she's going to need to be in danger eventually anyway. We're not staying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think she should stay down here, away from the other things, because you know the dragon skeletons things, they breathe lines of cold.
Right. That's why I stay behind at a distance.
Fair.
She's got to learn sometime, though.
Raazu reaches out and starts to open the door.
Okay.
Let's see it.
You open up into a very warm, but also very empty throne room. So looking into this room, you have suits of armor standing in the corner that look very similar to the suits of armor that you just fought in room 13. The room is very, very warm because along each wall hang some of the warming woolen curtains, and the arrow loops on the far side of the wall here have not been bricked over. You could potentially use these to rain arrows or pour oil down on somebody trying to storm up through the entryway below.
Mm-hmm.
There is a set of stairs at the back of the room leading up onto a dais upon which sits a stone chair. And the back of this chair looks mutilated. Like, at one point, something ornate and meaningful had been carved there, but then very deliberately chipped away.
So
Turn to Thada. Say any. What can you tell us about this room?
She tells you that she doesn't know much. That she knows that the castle, long time ago, many years before even Circassius was born, that a beautiful queen ruled from here. Or at least that's what the stories say. But she's only heard snippets from Circassius, which has only heard snippets from Daedradaya. The reason you're here is because you're trying to raise a demi-lich.
The Lich, yes.
Lady Sana Verena. And you imagine perhaps this was her chair in the last days of Voronacht, when it was inhabited by people.
I think it's the first time you've said her name, but I imagine that...
No, Adrex asked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Wendy, do you think we should throw the armor off the cliff?
I don't know. It's not really guarding anything.
Do we just leave it be there?
Yeah.
Let's just close the door and go on our way.
Okay.
Yeah. Do that.
If we get stuck, we can search that room a little bit better. But for now, it seems as worthy of search as any other room.
All right. So I'm
yeah,
going to save this map. This is floor 2.
It is. Because we drew like 2s all over it. Probably the most mysterious floor to date.
Oop.
Heading up these stairs, you see something very perplexing at the top of the stairs. Oh, I looked at the wrong room number 1. I was about to throw another bone swarm at you guys.
Bone Swarm
Bone Swarm
is ready.
There's a vast window in the set into the south wall, and through it you can see pretty much most of the view is taken up by the curtain wall along the south, and then just the black sky above that. And I haven't actually rolled to see what the weather's been like. You guys have been here for more than a day now. There's a light dusting of snow settling onto the window pane. The window is enormous. It's easily large enough for Adrex to climb through without even stooping his head. It's square, and it has this heavily tarnished brass frame around it. The thickest part is at the bottom where the window pane is, and that's where the snow has been settling. And it's divided into 4 quadrants with brass dividers going vertically and horizontally. In the center, you see this ornate, beautifully filigreed, what looks almost like a clock face from as you come up the stairs. Lots of little designs on it, but it's too difficult to make them out at that distance.
Can't find my token.
Very notably, when you guys had done a perimeter of the castle previously, from the outside, there were no windows externally.
Except for the throne room, right?
No, the throne room had arrow loops.
Mm.
The difference between an arrow loop and a window is something you look out of. An arrow loop is something that's designed just to fire arrows through. The reason they're triangular is it gives you range of vision from inside, but they cannot be seen in from the outside.
Okay. Raazu crests the stairs, looks around.
Okay, and you see the door off to your left over here.
We are missing a birdie.
Are you, though?
No, I'll just stay downstairs. That's I can't find my my thing.
There, I'll give you this one.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Brick Road.
Yeah.
You're my hero.
And coming up behind Birdie
When life loses a birdie.
is thought of a young orc girl clutching her wooden stick.
Like,
Alright, I'm not putting up with that any longer now.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of like real weapon can she hold?
She
Like a
insists
dagger?
that this is a real weapon.
I mean, is it?
She tells you that she's trained at this, that Circassius, for all his failings, was a dutiful tutor in the arts of combat. She does a few moves with this stick.
Are you gonna like? Is the wood at least gonna like hold up? Because I mean, like you can hit someone with a stick, sure.
No, this is a stick.
Okay.
She
Like-
can hit you with this as hard as she can and it wouldn't do any damage.
All right. Well,
I have a short sword. Can she wield that?
Probably, but she won't. Raazu and Birdie, what are you guys doing at the front of this room? It's very cold, as you can feel the wind biting in from outside. It's a mostly
making
clear
room.
night, but there is a light snowfall.
I mean, I'm just
Tell
looking at
Thought. Yeah, I'll tell Thada that for your own safety, you should probably keep your distance.
well, she's staying in the back. Don't worry.
Does this
Red, we
this
have a
window
procedure.
looks like
Yeah.
Go ahead, McDohl.
this window looks like it's where it should be on the castle, right? In terms of like looking outside, even though we saw no windows leering from the outside.
It looks
So
very
it's unsafe.
unlike anything else you've seen in the castle. Definitely does this. This definitely would have been an aftermarket edition, so to speak.
Let's add 26 on search for traps. What if it's an invisible window on the other side? Can magic do that?
No, the door does not seem trapped.
I mean,
That's what
Birdie
asking
climbs up
Birdie.
into the. I'm sorry.
Can magic make a window invisible?
I imagine, yeah.
I mean, okay, so I guess a window would just be an invisible bunch of bricks in the wall, but could it make the invisibility of the window invisible? Would it make it visible, I guess? But not
Hey, Matt.
visible so that it block. Magic is weird.
It makes it
Stop.
revisible.
As far as I can tell, magic can do anything.
All right, so Birdie just
What if
climbs
it's
up
an
into the
evil-
windowsill while they're complaining and just opens the window.
It's
What if
already
an
open.
evil
It's open
window?
to empty space. There's no panes
Oh.
at all.
Oh,
In fact, when you climb up onto the windowsill, I mean, you're pushing snow out into the yard beyond. Getting this close and getting a better look at this weird clock face, this brass thing sitting, and it's kind of, you have to reach up to be able to get a good look at it. It's a circle, and it's sectioned off with smaller brass rods into 8 equal pieces. The bottom of the circle, where the thing has a ring of brass around it, there's a little notch at the very bottom. And there are filigreed
Oh
symbols
shit!
within the 8 little pie slices. And the bottom one is a castle battlement. And there are 7 other symbols going around the pie slice. The first of which, starting at the bottom where you are and going clockwise, looks like a weird tomato, a knight's shield, a cattail, by which I mean the weird plant thing that looks like a corn dog, not an actual cattail, a spined circle, like a circle with a bunch of needles coming out the perimeter, a wave like you would see on the ocean, a mushroom, and the last slice, the one just to the right of the bottom one, indicating the castle battlement, is empty. There's no symbol at all.
so you said it's a clock face. Is there hands?
I said it resembles a clock face. There's only 8
okay.
sections, though, instead of 12.
Okay, but there's like no hands or nothing. Like there's nothing like pointing to the
There
different
is,
things.
at the very bottom of this ring of brass, there's a little brass notch that's pointing at the castle battlement, which is the symbol in the lowest part of the clock face.
And can I move the little knob?
You get your hands on it, and it has some give left and right, And craning your neck up, you can see where it's notched to allow the center poles that bisects the window in each direction, allows it for this ring to move through them, but it doesn't seem like it moves. It has a little bit of give to it, and it looks like it could move, but you try to wrench it a little bit, and you're not sure how much strength you want to give it, because it's very delicate filigree. It's also very, very cold, because it's facing the freezing temperatures outside.
All right. So it's pointing to a picture of a castle courtyard, right?
No, castle battlement.
Castle battlement.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look out, I can see the castle battlements.
When you look out, you can indeed see the curtain wall, and on the curtain wall has outward-facing battlements.
All right. Birdie hops down and goes, all right, I'm going to put all of my money, and by my money, I mean your money, on this being like a teleportal device, right? And that right there, it points. Birdie's just talking out of his ass. He has absolutely no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just check the mundane door first, and we get stymied by that, then we can consider the esoteric, crazy magic nonsense.
But it does look like it does turn, but we're missing a piece, is what I'm getting from this.
Make a Tinker's Tools check. Intelligence Tinker's Tools.
All right.
You're intelligent.
That's a... Okay, I gotta check one thing, because I'm not sure if... Whenever you make an ability check, lets you add your proficiency. Okay, so that would count. That would be a 10 plus 10, so 20.
The way that when you move the center piece of the window, the brass rod that connects the center of the window to the bottom, you notice it rattles slightly. And it's like this piece will move, but not in this way. Like this would be an outer gear. If you were to move a piece that's supposed to be gripped and moved, this might turn in a particular way. Which tells you there's probably another mechanism somewhere on this window.
Oh, okay. Well, can I search for the other mechanism?
Yeah, go ahead and make a investigation check.
That would be an 11.
How are you searching?
Just kind of rubbing my hands up and down the sides of the clock face and kind of looking for anything that might have some give to it.
Well, the clock face, like I already said, already has some give to it. You've already kind of examined that.
Okay, then I'll go up and down the sides of the just the walls and stuff.
Okay, and running your hand up and down the sides of where the window meets the walls, you don't find anything. Just your hand just comes away very cold, very unpleasant.
Does the window itself turn, Birdie? Can you move the bars?
I mean, I can try that.
Getting your hands around the bars. Yeah, with enough yank, like you don't think Adrex would have, or Raazu would have any trouble getting one of these bars dislodged, but then they'd just be breaking it, or as Wendy would say, repurposing it.
I don't know, I'm stumped. Birdie hops down. We can come back to this later, I guess. Keep this...
Yeah, we might see something else that kind of triggers a thought in our mind.
Okay.
Raazu sighs and then nods, turns around, looks to the, is the door free moving or does it have that held ring to pull?
No, it doesn't seem sealed.
Alright, then Raazu will go ahead and open the door.
Okay. The door opens into a hallway. You see a door across from you. The hallway turns off to the left, but on a tiny wooden stool, right in the middle, like right in between these two doors, a tiny, foul-smelling, slimy-looking, lizard-like humanoid creature kicks over backwards, and you hear a snoring sound, like a sound, as you open the door, like you startled him out of sleep. There's a clatter as the little stool falls over to the ground, and the creature hits the ground, and you hear a metallic clunk as the crown he was wearing falls off of his head and lands on the stone. And after a while, he scrambles to his feet, and he doesn't stand much taller than maybe 1.5 feet. And he's wearing this garish purple and pink raiment with these, what might pass for like poofy pants, with these just really ugly gold stripes that run up them. And he affixes this lopsided crown to his lizard-like head and clears his throat. Yes, well, the lady, Daedra Daya, was expecting you lot a long time ago. Hours and hours I've been waiting. He reaches up and he rubs his slimy eyes. And then he indicates the hallway here and says, this way.
We've been held up.
Maybe if she
Indicates the
turned
hallway
off
to the north.
Castle, we've gotten here sooner.
Yes, he indicates the hallway to the north.
Yeah, so.
I thought she was in the basement the whole time, Adrex.
Can I see what's past here?
There's a door there.
Okay.
No, he goes forward a little bit.
So ask the little gremlin guy all the way to the end? Or...
Yes, he's leading you all the way to the end of the hall, turning this corner. And he seems very impatient. Like, y'all need to hop too. Coming around the hallway, there's several more doors. There's one to your left here. There's one off to your right here. 2 more on the north. And he stops at this door in the south wall here. And then he indicates Raazu's taking the lead. He kind of bows his head in a very sarcastic way as he gestures to the door. And then he steps aside.
Raazu bows just as sarcastically back. Wait for the others to to come up, and then.
What is Adrex doing?
Hey, he's doing
Hopping to it.
Impatiently.
Hopping. Oh my god.
Just picture Adrex like hopping left to right, like a boxer.
And Raazu will open the door.
Opening the door, it opens into what looks like a small, almost claustrophobic study. The room itself is fairly large. It's 15 by 15 feet. I mean, it's big enough to be comfortable, but there's so many shelves and just stacks and stacks of books and materials and desks that worming your way through this space would be quite difficult. It's also very dimly and maybe even dangerously lit, as candles are just kind of lit haphazardly on stacks of paper and books here and there. Along the right-hand side of the room looking in, you have one of these warming curtains hanging. And the creature that appears from behind a stack of books on a table across from you, you see the Arcanoloth, a hyena-like creature. Looks like a humanoid canine. And she has reddish-orange hair covering her face. She's wearing very heavy robes. She has a big tome in her hands that she sets gingerly aside. You can see she's wearing heavy gloves as well. She's wearing winter garb, in other words. She also has a heavy hat perched on top of her head. And she looks out at the door at Raazu, and you see her eyes get wide, and she smiles. And there's something about her smile that you mislike greatly. She says, at last, yes, do come in.
Raazu steps inside, makes way
Adrex
for the
shouts
others.
from the hallway. Why didn't you turn off your castle?
Stepping in the room, there's this overwhelming sense. The first thing is just this musty smell of just old paper and old books. And you feel like you're surrounded just by history, just ancient texts piled up absolutely everywhere. You hear her, or rather you see her as she takes one of the candles, as she tips it over behind a stack of papers. You can't see what she's doing, but you can smell it almost immediately as she lights a stick of incense. You see a curl of smoke rise up from behind, and this very not unpleasant smell of lavender fills the room. As she calls out into the hallway and says, all of you now, come on, squeeze in, sit where you can. There's much to discuss, and the hour is very late.
What do we do with... we'll just bring her in.
Fada stays outside of the room. She pokes her head in the door. And you see the Arcanoloth. You see her eyes fall on the orc girl for a moment. And the smile widens. And as the smile widens, she's just showing more and more of her fangs. These huge, jagged canines out the side of her mouth. And she says it's just as well. What we are to discuss next is not for the ears of children. She brushes her hand towards the door just with a flippant wave. And as that happened, the door slams shut behind Adrex.
See? I told her. Now she knew what to expect.
And she looks around at all of you. And though you are all alive, I think it's fair to say that you have had a harrowing journey through the castle thus far. I think half of you said you were out of hit dice at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're pretty stretched, as it were.
So the wounds and the tiredness of the expedition so far is very visible on all of you, and she seems delighted to make note of it. She turns to Adrex and she says, I beg you forgiveness, but you must appreciate my perspective. What if I had... And she puts her hand over her heart and holds another hand. And you see she's not actually wearing gloves. What she's wearing is mittens. And there's something very wrong about them. Because you realize she doesn't have humanoid hands. She has the paws and claws of a creature. She says, what if I had turned off my castle and you all had reached me effortlessly? And thus I could not have been assured you were prepared for the task ahead. What if you were incompetents? What if you were miscreants? Idiots? She overlooks all of you, and her eyes seem to settle on Birdie as he's kind of squeaking in the corner over there. She says, but no, you're not idiots. Not you.
Not on most days,
Always
anyway.
Wants to test us. I don't get it. At some point, someone's just going to take us at our word, and it's going to be fine.
It's gonna throw us off.
Like, oh, we got to test you, make sure everything's you say who you are. Absolutely ridiculous.
She asks you whether the cart goes both ways on that road. Just for example, if I were to give you my word, would you accept it? If I were to tell you that I want to help you, that I'm on your side, that I'm going to protect you from the coming evil and give you that which you desire, would you believe me? Oh, but it would be so delightful if you would.
Raazu narrows her eyes.
I mean, not when you speak so evilly like that.
And she chuckles. And again, there's something about her laughter that you just very, very don't like. She says, alas, we competents, those of us of heroic nature and exceptional disposition, we are aware that mistrust is the key to survival in this harsh, this dangerous world. We stand here today, the six of us, because we have come through the tribulations behind us because we have not trusted them. Is this not true? She asks Adrex.
I mean, I have no reason not to distrust you, But the fact that you didn't drop down your castle defenses makes me not trust you.
I mean, honestly, we've been pretty trusting in the past.
Yeah, and it's always worked out great.
At this, she takes up a ream of parchment. And she sits, and you can't see what she's sitting on because she's got this stack of just this incredibly messy desk. Looks like my desk in this room. I'm looking at my desk across the room right now, and it's shameful, is what it is. It's pretty awful.
My desk is shameful too.
Yeah, it's gross. And she dabs a quill into an unseen jar of ink, and she holds it to the fire, and it sparks a little bit. And she says, well, I am fond of the accumulation of knowledge, and I am an eager learner. And so you will now tell me the virtues of trust, and how it has gained you so much. And she holds her quill to the parchment expectantly. And she's holding her face with her chin pointed a little too high, and her eyes still gazing at Adrex, waiting for him, like waiting for the lecture to begin.
Professor Adrex, huh?
You're the only one amongst them for the doctorate.
He's a medical doctor, though.
Weird medicine in the streets.
And Adrex will start going on about the adventures that he's gone on, starting with the Moakden. Actually, starting before that in Lesser Hedgehog Pastures, and then going on about the Moakden, and going on from there.
And you see she takes dutiful notes.
And going into great detail about the moments where explicit trust was needed between individuals and how it has worked to the greater benefit of others.
So when you get to the part very early in the story where, say, instead of scouting out the orc camp and freeing the slaves quietly that were being held there, you decided to slaughter them all.
We were younger, foolish back then.
Or later on in the story where there was, like, diplomatic solutions had presented themselves to deal with, say, the likes of Bose and Bob, but instead...
I don't think Radrix actually knows that one.
Or, that's true. Well, there was a little earlier in the story where the Snow Queen said that she had your best interests at heart, and you all thought she was obviously lying.
Well,
there was no trust there. So I guess my question is, are you leaving those parts out, the parts where you were mistrustful of people, or are you trying to...
That's not Adrex.
Massage the truth.
Here's the thing, though, is where you have people like the Snow Queen, you have also people like Josias, like Josias, who had met us on multiple occasions in the Feywild, and who had encountered us on multiple occasions, but we hadn't remembered any of them because the Snow Bell Queen had been wiping our memories of each of our encounters.
Also, I mean, the Snow Queen didn't turn off her castle either.
She didn't.
She asks if before your sojourn into the Snow Queen's domain, before your dealings with her even began, how many of her trusted allies and associates did you murder?
I think we honestly don't know how to answer that one.
Like, there's no telling because we don't remember. There's no proof that we killed anybody.
Are you about to undertale us, Perkwood? Are you about to undertale us?
I mean, if I did, I'd never hear the end of it.
Yeah, I know.
God, that game sucks. I hate it so much. In fact, I can't run D&D anymore. I have to sit here and hate Undertale for the next hour. She says that before your dealings with her began, before you even knew the name of Voronacht Keep, or that anything of value was here, you had already slain 2 of her associates. They were betrayers, to be sure, but I don't begrudge them that, for betrayal is their nature. And she describes creatures that you slaughtered what seems like a year ago now. And she describes the 2 hydroloths from the Yuan-ti labs.
Oh. I mean, they attacked us first. So it was just self-defense at that point. And they did attack us first. Because they stabbed me, I remember.
I mean, they were also working to make an poison that would have basically destroyed all of everything if it had worked, so not particularly sorry about that one.
She nods, and she says, and it was their adherence to the base and lesser magics that caused them to be exiled from my sight. I do admit, feeling a small loss, I did have a fondness for them, but I do suppose I should also offer you gratitude for having rid the world of their like. And then she returns.
What was their like? Again?
She called them betrayers.
Right, but like they were like weird frog monsters.
Yeah.
Wendy has no idea how the heck weird frog monsters happen, so she's fishing.
And her eyes narrow, and she says, I imagine the same way as weird bird monsters. She looks at Adrex, or weird lizard monsters.
Alright, I didn't
Looks
say that.
at Raazu
Wow.
and... Or... I'm sorry, dear, I don't know what you are part of. You're just very tall and very hairy. Perhaps a
Lizard.
badger.
Raazu
not a
snarls
lizard.
a little bit.
I'm part dragon. How do you not notice that?
That dragon's not part lizard?
Birdie puts his
They're
palm,
warm-blooded.
puts his fist in his hand, and
Oh,
he goes,
okay.
Badger, that's it. It's been bothering me for the entire time.
Birdie, if you call me a badger, Wendy will not be able to save you from what I do to you.
And this is what I mean about trust right here. See? Like, trust.
Mistrust.
Adrex nods.
You know, I know another grouchy animal.
She does
A
say...
wolverine.
Well, somewhat sadly, she says the issue does seem to come back around to trust, does it not? And it's difficult for us to trust each other because, why, you are murderous adventurers. You've slain my associates. You've slain my knights. The undead I'm not so worried about.
Even the ones that got thrown over the cliff.
And
To
conversely...
be fair, you have tried to kill us, like a number of times.
And she nods,
Raazu.
says, conversely, I did not turn off my castle, so to speak,
Raazu.
and I am a purveyor of dark magics at the edge of the world.
Raazu breaks in and says, "Now we've had dealings with others before, such as I'm sure you're familiar with Breniar the Great Glimmer.
Familiar with what?
Breniar the Great Glimmer.
She says if you should be mistrustful of anyone, it is a snake of that size. And I mean no offense to our esteemed Yuan-ti friend in the corner, but it is the nature of snakes to be duplicitous, and so Breniar is. I'll make you a deal, she says to Raazu. I will do the honor of kindness of telling you all of my treacheries before I do them. This is
Okay.
a thing Breniar will not grant you.
Do tell. How is Breniar treacherous?
No, like, also your treacheries. I'm interested in that.
She says
That too.
that for all of her bluster and all of her pomp and circumstance and all of the hard and thankless work that she does, her years of research into dark and lost magics, she is not the master and ruler of this castle. And she thinks that she ought to be. Alas, she is bound by blood to not murder, to not assassinate he who is the true master of this place, the likes of which perhaps you have seen while you were robbing my treasury.
I mean, you took one thing.
Yeah, Wendy raises her hand and just makes a little pinching motion with two claws.
She says it is treacherous indeed to want to assassinate one's betters. And when she says she is bound by blood to not do so, she means that it's physically impossible for her to take a weapon to her master. She cannot do it. There are ancient bonds of blood and magic so powerful at work that she needs someone else to act as her hand.
Birdie raises his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, so if you just can't, if it's just a matter of you can't use a weapon, why not, I don't know, collapse the ceiling on him, do any number of things, like set a fire and have it like consume him, you know, indirect stuff. Maybe
she asks, is that not what she is doing by negotiating with very capable assassins?
I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, kind of messy and like getting other people involved is all. I mean, there's so many other ways you could do it.
She
also,
says,
we prefer thieves and murderers.
She nods as she says that dealing with thieves and murderers, plots of assassination, are often messy. And she tells you, too, that she has ulterior motives for wanting to revive the tree in the courtyard, to bring to life the demi-lich that was sealed here so long ago. She says that you and I want the same thing, but we want it for different reasons. You would... As she leans back in her chair, and she gets this quizzical look on her face, and says, you know, for all of my skill in arcane prediction, I can't imagine why you want to revive the demi-lich. Far be it for me to play into the stereotypes of the skilled adventurer, but this does not seem to be in your wheelhouse.
Well, we're going to make her our friend. We're going to make friends with her.
Birdie slaps his forehead.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Sorry, that's why I was laughing.
She tells you that she wants her, that is the demi-lich, so that she may bind her. Rather than seal her spirit in this place, I would allow it to live bound here, to lash out in anguish, and in the lashing I would take control of the magical energies that are released and bend them to my own designs, to further my research and my influence.
Birdie looks very nervously at Red. Because it sounds an awful lot like she wants to impress the Lich into slavery, and we all know how many times Red has just silently stabbed somebody.
And Red doesn't say anything. Hence the silently part.
Raazu will speak up and say, "Our group may not agree on a lot of things, but one thing we can agree on is the impressment of others into servitude. That does not truck well with us."
And she chuckles and says, "Oh, you have not been dead for 1,000 years, I see."
No.
To be dead, to be in a place of blankness and emptiness, of utter silence and solitude for that long, to be alone with your own madness for an eternity, you would beg for the chance to be a slave again.
If that's the case, then why don't you just ask her to work with you willingly? She should be grateful.
Because she, like I, is a capable and very distinguished dark sorceress who has studied evil magics for many years.
Raazu stares at every single one of her allies and says, because she is very willful. That she